Yo, what is going on, guys? And welcome to the second episode of the US Network game here on my channel with me and my club, the Spacemen. So if you don't know this series and you've missed the first episode last Thursday, go check it out as always. This is a USA Network game I'm doing with another YouTuber, Dr. Benji. There'll be a link in the top of the description to his video covering his kind of video for this time period that I'm now covering. So it has been a little over 6 months since the last episode, there or thereabouts. We're halfway through the season, so we're in January now. So it's actually, I think it's less than 6 months, it's about 5 months. But in that time we have played away, and I'll tell you what, I'm pretty happy with how things have turned out. We had a very slow start. Last episode, lost 2-0 to Montreal Impact. I was not well that video, and that loss just made me feel even iller. Fortunately for me, however, we have stepped things up since then, and things are really looking on the up. So anyway, I guess we'll start by looking at the league table and then go through some of the bigger fixtures that we've had. But looking at the league table, we are currently top of the league after 21 games. There is 38 games in the season, so with 17 games left, we're top of the league. But you can see the points here, it's ridiculously tight. I can't think of a league that I've ever done where 5 teams are separated by 2 points at Christmas at the top of the table. We do find ourselves at the top of that kind of pack. As you can see, we have scored 46 goals, which is the most in the league, and defensively we have the third best defensive record. So far so good. In terms of goal difference, ours is also the best in the league, which is very good to have. So anyway, look at the fixtures, a few of the key ones that have gone our way, I guess. You can see here that we lost and had a bit of an iffy first bit to the season. In our first 5 games we only won 2, and that was a little bit concerning, but I kind of put that down to growing pains and the team's lack of gelling, and since then things have really been on the up. And despite a little bit patchy form of late, you look at the bigger kind of picture, I guess, and things are looking very promising indeed. So anyway, one of the big games was actually against LA Galaxy. It was one of the early games that we played. It was a 2-2 draw. You can see here Griezmann grabbing the opening goal for them after Lucas Romero opened the scoring completely, and we relied on a last-minute Sean Parker goal to get the win here. I'll show you guys this game. But so far, things are looking very promising indeed. I have made a few signings in the January transfer window, which I will talk about. I must admit, this is slightly new for me, this video format. You guys will know me as doing kind of the monthly updates. So to do these 6-month updates, I've got to cram a lot more in. So I'm going to be focusing on a lot of the key fixtures, of which this was certainly one of them. So as I mentioned, Griezmann was one of the big players who made a transfer, and I mentioned that in the previous episode, so it wasn't surprising, I guess, when he scored against us. A few of the other big transfers in this division have been Jordan Henderson going to Seattle Sounders, and I believe Emil Heskey has ended up in the Super League somehow, and that is not a joke. But there's been some fairly big transfers, I guess you could say. There's been some surprising ones, which you kind of raise an eyebrow to. I think Varane has also now gone to LA Galaxy, so that really gives you an idea of kind of the calibre of players coming into the league. But anyway, as I mentioned, this game was sealed by a last-minute goal. We managed to get the equaliser. Sean Parker on the back post, getting a fantastic header there. The US international player of the future, hopefully, grabbing the goal there. He is German and American in terms of his nationalities, but because I've not got the German hotfix in, he's more likely to play for the USA, which is kind of a good thing, I think. It'd be good to see him play for England. But anyway, or not for England, sorry, for America, I'm sorry, Americans watching this have just jumped out their seats and are absolutely outraged. Anyway, the next game that we had was against Tampa Armor FC, Dr. Benji's team, and we lost 3-1 thanks to Anthony Annan. He got sent off, he gave away a penalty, Shawcross scored an own goal. After 20 minutes, the game felt pretty dead, if I'm honest. As a result, I sent Anthony Annan on his way, terminated his loan, told him to GTFO, and he's now back at Schalke, playing in their second team in the kind of German third division. But anyway, this was pretty disappointing. Obviously, this was against Ben. I believe he has uploaded a full-length video of this game to his channel. He did it on Saturday. I didn't record this game because I wasn't feeling too well. But if you want to check that out, and a bit of the, I guess, the chatter that we had during the network game, you can go check that out. I'll make sure there's a link to that game as well. So if you want to see that match in full, find out all the nitty-gritty details, they are all there. You'll notice as well here that we went on a US Cup run. That has unfortunately come to a rather abrupt end in the 5th round, where we actually lost to Vancouver Whitecaps. Prior to this, we beat Charleston Battery 5-3 and Orange County Pateadores 4-0. This game could have been so many more. We actually hit the woodwork, I think it was 6 times in this game, and we only scored 4. I'll show you the stats here. 31 shots, only 4 goals. I was pretty disappointed by that, if I'm honest, but it was one of those opportunities to really pad out the stats. We did lose to Vancouver Whitecaps 2-0, as you can see there. We drew with them in the league. They are one of the big teams in the league. If I show you here, you can see they are currently in 3rd and Sporting Kansas City are 2nd. So they were an unfortunate team to get drawn against in the US Cup, and it was a shame to lose to them, but it gives us, I guess, a newfound focus to really to plough on in the league. You can see how Ben did, of course, in his thing here. I'll just quickly show you, but he is still in that competition. Although you can see here he's lost a few lately. He went through against Richmond Kickers after extra time, which was a really crazy game, really. But anyway, I don't want to focus too much on Ben's stuff, because the idea is you go and see what he's doing. In the league, our biggest win so far, I believe, was 6-1. It was 6-1. It was against New England Revolution. It was a good away win, a good opportunity to pad out the stats. Charlie Austin grabbing 2, Aldrete, our fullback, grabbing another, Sean Parker and Kiyotake also getting on the score sheet. So far, so good, really. Looking at our kind of tactics here, you can see this is kind of our, I guess, first choice 11 when everyone's fit, and things are looking pretty rosy when you look at this team. It's a very strong team. Brad Friedel in goal has been superb. He's actually picked up a few man of the matches, which is pretty rare for goalkeepers in Football Manager. He's kept 9 clean sheets in 21. Of course, as I mentioned, our defensive record is particularly impressive, but the thing that I'm most impressed about with this Brad Friedel kind of performance that he's been putting in is the fact his pass completion in all competitions is 92%. We're really doing a good job of retaining the possession, when we do build from the back, which is very important, and I guess that starts with the keeper. Aldrete, as I mentioned, scored in that New England win. The Mexican fullback's been superb for us this season. You can see a 7.23 average rating. Right back Aguila, another Mexican fullback, another international, playing very well, and you can see he's got a 7.42 rating with 6 assists, which I guess he's playing wing back. With our system, we don't have the kind of wide attacking midfielders, although these 2 wide centre mids do have the kind of instruction run wide with the ball, so that does give us some artificial width, but to see both our fullbacks really contributing there is really important. Mangala and Shawcross have done really, really well as well. If I show you the player stats, Mangala was at one point a little while ago leading the way with, I think it was key headers. Let's see if he's still there. He is. 72 key headers in 21 games is absolutely outrageous. He is dominating the ball in the air for us. You can see Shawcross, he's got 45, which, I mean, it's not great, but he doesn't get much of it because Mangala, with his 19 jumping, is just there winning absolutely everything for us at the back, and that is huge. He has recently been called back up to the France squad, although he didn't actually get capped, which was unfortunate, but it's good to see him continuing to kind of plough on with his international career. Ryan Shawcross as well, yet to be called back up for England, but you can see here a 7.34 average rating for him in the league. Of course, he did score that own goal which cost us in the Tampa Armour FC game, but with the exception of that, he's been really good for us, our captain, and you can see here just in general he's just been an incredibly solid player, averaging 3.36 tackles per game. In the midfield department, perhaps the department that we're most weak in, Romero's really been the standout character. He's currently out for 2 weeks, which is a shame, but the 19-year-old has shown fantastic signs of development, certainly one to watch for the future. So hopefully the injury isn't going to affect him too much. He only has 6 days left of that now, but you can see, looking at his average rating, a 7.39 rating is very, very solid indeed. We then have Gede. I hope I said that right. I have no idea how to say this name. He's Slovakian. He looks handsome as hell. He loves it. He's photogenic. And he's not a bad defender either. He's one of the lower average ratings in our team, but he's been solid. Fernandez as well has done a job when we've called upon him. As you can see, 12 appearances in the league, a 7.45 average rating. Doesn't score many, doesn't get many assists, but what he does do well is dribble with the ball. And as you can see, an 80% pass completion is pretty impressive, really. Kiyotake has been our main man in the midfield, I'd have to say, though, in terms of going forward. You can see here 8 assists and 7 goals in 20 games with a 7.31 average rating in the league is superb, and he has been, an influential factor in our kind of attacking trio who have become pretty prolific in the league. So making up the second part of this trio is Sean Parker. I already touched upon this guy and the fact he's doing very well. 9 goals in 13 games for him, a 7.2 on average ratings. And then the man of the moment, the big man on campus, the man who, when I bought in, Ben laughed at. He laughed at him. Charlie Austin, proving him wrong. 15 goals in the league. That is the top goal scorer kind of total right now. Charlie Austin leading the way there. And 8 assists as well. And a 7.51 average rating in the league is absolutely superb. If I show you the player stats here. So, as I mentioned, he is top of the goal scoring charts. But the other thing that he's particularly good in is his assists, where he has 8. And 8 is tied 4th right now in the league, which is super impressive. And his average ratings are also helping him. And you'll see, really, we're dominating a lot of the stats, which is very nice to see in terms of how well we're doing. So, that's a general rundown of where our squad's at right now. All in all, very happy with the players we have. As I mentioned, we did bring in some additions just to show you guys these quickly. The first of which was Eric Torres. You guys may remember this guy from FM 2013. I'm going to be completely honest, I really overpaid for this guy. But he's a player who I have fond memories of in FMs gone by. And I want to give him another shot to really try and develop him into the best player he can be. As you can see, he's played 2 games in the league and got 2 goals. He used to play centre attacking mid in Football Manager. This year he only plays up top, so that's where we're going to be playing him when we need to play him, particularly with the Charlie Austin injury. It might give him an opportunity to play in this episode's game. But right now, to say we signed him for 12 million, I'm not expecting to get my monies back, but he's got things off on the right foot with a 7.23 average rating in the league, of which, as I mentioned, one of his goals was a screamer. It was in the first game that he played for us against San Jose Earthquakes, and this was a really impressive goal. I'm going to quickly show you guys this, because when this went in, I mean, this guy has 6 long shots, so I wasn't expecting a screamer. It's not what I was looking for him to bring. I was looking for him to be a little pacey poacher who we could bring on off the bench when need be. But in this game particularly, he was very exciting. And I think he got an assist on our second goal. But this was the finish. Eric Torres chipping it from 30 yards. Jack, stop exaggerating. For some reason I said 60. For some reason I doubled it in my mind. Who knows? But anyway, that was a fantastic goal for him. The other transfers that we bought in, of which there are 3, the first one who I forgot to mention was Abraham Marroquin, just a regen who kind of got pulled up for the US Under-20 squad. I was able to bring him in on a free, so yeah, pulling him into the van. And 6 Under-20 caps, aged 16. He doesn't play in a position where it kind of fits into our formation. Obviously, I like to play the narrow midfield, so he's going to be out on the left. He's a player who, you know, I'll try and bed into our system if possible. Maybe our system will adapt to him if he can really improve. But right now, just a good young free player to pick up. The next player we brought in was Pablo Aimar. I just wanted a little bit more class, I guess. Class, is that the right word for Pablo Aimar? It probably is. I wanted someone who I could bring on in the centre attacking mid position. Sometimes Kiyotake just didn't turn up for us, and we didn't really have that backup super creative option in the midfield. I mean, I show you our centre attacking mids here. We have Higuain, who's okay, but he's more of a striker than anything in my opinion, in terms of how he can play. And I played him up front a little bit, and he hasn't really shone for us. Only a 6.67 average rating. He's not the best player, but I brought him in because he was a free agent. And then you look at our other players like Freddie Adu, who, I mean, he's good, but he's not a huge creative asset to the team. His flair rating really kind of gives a false reading, I guess, when you consider his passing and creativity are only 13 and 12. So I was looking for a player who I could bring on off the bench to really have an impact and, you know, be a different creative outlet if Kiyotake doesn't perform for whatever reasons. And I think Aimar's going to do that when we do need him to come in. He's only on $9,000 a week. He came in for 40k. It's a real bargain, really. And who knows, if he can get a few assists, then he'll certainly have repaid his fee. The last player I signed was another striker, which might seem a little bit odd because we do have a hell of a lot of strikers in our team, and that's something I am going to look to rectify over the summer. But one issue that we really had was the fact that we had far too many poachers in our team, far too many pacey players, not enough of an aerial presence, a big man who I could stick up when the time was right. We managed to get this guy in, Yannick Njeng, who I'm going to be completely honest, I've never heard of before in Football Manager. We signed him from ES Tunis, who are a Tunisian team, and he's a good big target man, and I'm hoping he's really going to have an impact for us. You can see, looking at his stats, he's a pretty good player all round, and if he can grab a few goals, he'll be a fine replacement for Charlie Austin. So that's the players that we've brought in. That's a little bit about the squad. Progress has been pretty steady. Really happy to see us top of the league. Beyond my wildest expectations. Obviously, it's still super tight at the top. But today, to cap off today's episode, I'm going to be live coming a game against Portland Timbers, which does mark the kind of 22nd match day of the season. And they're a team in 5th, so they're a team very much on the tail who can leapfrog us if they beat us. So it's going to be a fairly big game. So I'll chat to you guys on match day. Okay guys, so match day is upon us and we are going to be taking on Portland Timbers. My squad is locked in. We are playing away from home and this is a big game for us as Portland Timbers are one of our big promotional rivals who, as I mentioned, could leapfrog us this game. So anyway, looking at our squad, the injuries to Austin and Romero mean that Fernandez and Bocanegra are going to swap around. Fernandez, who normally starts out on the left centre mid, will drop into the right centre mid. A spot opens up for Bocanegra, and up front we give a debut to Yannick Njeng. So hopefully he can go big for us this year, the Cameroonian, and get us a few goals because we are without Charlie Austin basically for the next 3 months. So anyway, Spacemen were favourites. In fact, no, we're not. The pundit thinks we're favourites. But the money, bookie's choice, Portland Timbers. Mangala being our key player today. So anyway, let's get some team instructions going. They're playing a 4-2-3-1, and this is a tactic which I have struggled a little bit against in terms of just as a team. It's a formation that I guess exploits a little bit the space that we perhaps leave open. So we're going to be looking for big performances, particularly from our wing-backs. But hopefully we can make a performance of this. Charlie Austin is going to be an absolutely humongous miss. As is Romero, really. We are losing 2 of our key men. Obviously, Romero's back before too long, but the Austin miss is going to be huge. And Yannick Njeng, for 1.2 million, has really come in to be that replacement, to be that kind of player who can fill in that position. So I'm hoping that he's going to do something for us. We are playing in our light blue kit. They're on the attack here. Ederson with a chance. Great save there by Brad Friedel, but that is not a good sign as the first clear-cut chance falls their way. But anyway, I'm looking for us to build well from the back, maybe look to exploit a little bit the space that's left in behind their centre mids particularly, and that is exactly what Kiyotake done. And Yannick Njeng with 2 shots blocked there, 2 clear-cut chances in 1 highlight, but still no goal, and that will be cleared. That was good promising signs. As I said, I'm looking for Kiyotake, particularly because of the way the Portland Timbers are lining up with their 4-2-3-1. I'm looking for him to get in behind the 2 deeper centre mids, and Parker bangs it in, but it's been given offside. Oh, the hopes were up so high there, but unfortunately the referee or the assistant referee's flag is raised. And Sean Parker denied an opportunity to grab what I believe would have been his 10th league goal of the season. Half an hour in, we are having the better of the play, but still only 1 shot on target. Slightly concerning for me. You can see Portland Timbers themselves, they're having their fair share of possession, but they've certainly not done as much with it as we have, especially since the 3rd minute where they had their only shot on target. I'm going to tell the players here I'm not happy. I want us to be fired up. I know we're away from home against another team really, I guess, in that kind of title race, but we need to win this. We need to exert our dominance over these kind of teams to really stand a chance here. So hopefully we can make something of in the second half. Hopefully the halftime team talk is going to spur us into action as Yannick Njeng spreads it to Aldrete, and Njeng, Bocanegra can't quite get there. Ricketts fast off his line, gives it to us. That is a gift of a goal. Kiyotake says, thank you very much. We retain our first place position as things stand right now, as Kiyotake grabs his 12th goal of the season from midfield. I mentioned he could be a key player for us. That is a terrible throw. And, well, I expected Kiyotake to have an impact without an anchor man of sorts for them and without any defensive midfielders, but that was a gift. That was far too easy for us, but I am not going to complain one little bit. And right now, we are deservedly ahead. As now Njeng, can he use his pace, apply some pressure to Ricketts, who, I mean, after that throw and that gift he's just given us, I'm waiting for him to make more mistakes. And right now we are pushing very high up the pitch to attempt to, I guess, force more errors out of them. Shawcross going to pick it up. So far, so good. It looks like since the second half started, we've been all over them. And Njeng really should have done better there. This is his debut. This is his time to set his tone and set the tone for kind of the rest of his time at the club. And right there, with that miss, it's disappointing. I was about to make a change, but with 62 minutes left, there's a chance Friedel collects the ball. I don't know if that was the highlight. I'm going to make a few changes. I think I might put a fresh pair of legs upfield. Can we create some? And Zheng, he buries it. That is the goal. And maybe I'm going to change my mind about that decision. There's some appeals of offside, but Zheng is not going to complain. That is a goal on his debut. Kiyotake again involved. He has been absolutely influential for us. Ricketts, the keeper there, he didn't make himself big. Instead, he let the ball hit him on the head and go in. Anyway, there's 20 minutes left on the clock. Do I go slightly more defensive? I don't feel like we need to. I'm going to switch out Parker for Eric Torres. There's no point in bringing off Kiyotake. As I mentioned, Amar's kind of that option for when he doesn't perform. We're not going to need to call it upon him today. I don't feel like too many changes are needed. We've still got some fairly solid legs. In terms of the midfield, I guess I can make a little bit of a change here. In terms of, I'll move Fernando to the box-to-box, bring Kiyotake in at deep line playmaker, and then let's give a debut to Amar at trequartista. Let's see what he can do there. He hasn't got the agility necessarily to play the trequartista, but his creative mentals are still there. He has the technicals. Maybe he can make an impact. If not, it's just a nice chance to get him a little bit of match fitness here. And this is looking like it's going to transpire to be an absolutely fantastic result. As with 20 seconds left, there is probably not going to be another chance here. So 2-0 to the Spacemen away at Portland Timbers. Eric Torres, can he bury it? No, he can't. I got my hopes up there of a late goal, but it's been given offside. Kiyotake wins the Man of the Match award. Great performance by us there. I am very pleased with your performance, boys. Very impressive there. A good turnaround, particularly in the second half. That harsher team talk working wonders. You can see, looking at the stats, we really dominated it. It's a position that we deserved. And you can see here, Tamparama FC won again. And wow, I'll tell you what, the fight at the top is going to be incredibly tight. You can see here, Brad Friedel yet to concede in 278 competitive minutes. And then Zheng getting a goal on his debut. Neymar making his debut for us too. Great performance. I'm going to praise Kiyotake and let him know how well he's been doing. This guy has been absolutely superb for us. I'll just show you how good this guy is, because Kiyotake is a fantastic player who, if you're playing FM14 now, you're looking for an attacking midfielder, either as an advanced playmaker or, as I prefer to play him, a trequartista. This is the guy for you. Fantastic all-round attributes, just an ideal trequartista. You can see here, 11 goals and 11 assists in 23 games. Just a really impressive performance by the Japanese player and the Japanese international. And he's looking like a bargain right now at 6 million. One of the real players to make a difference. So just going to praise that last game. You were superb. He's loving it. He wasn't happy with it. I'll tell you what. I'm glad you think you can do better. You averaged a 9.0 rating and you're angry. I don't understand. Well, if his standards are higher, that is fine by me. So anyway, that wraps up the game. Ben's game is yet to finish. This is one of the disadvantages of a network game. But I'm going to wrap things up here, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed this episode. Hopefully you're enjoying this series. Just something very different. Of course, as I mentioned right at the start of the video, if you want to see Ben's perspective of his live com for today's game, and you want to know what he's been doing in kind of the period up until this point in the season, go check out his video over on his channel. Link will be at the top of the description. If you've enjoyed, let me know by smashing the like button. If you've got any questions with regards to this series or FM in general, feel free to leave them down below, and I will try and get back to as many people as I can. Anyway, guys, that wraps things up from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.